Welcome to the Depressy podcast.
I'm Missy.
And I'm Allie.
And we're sisters.
In the mental health field. What is so funny? Mental health is funny to you, Missy?
No, I just am in a silly mood. Okay.
Welcome to the Depressy podcast.
I'm Missy.
And I'm Allie.
And we're sisters.
In the mental health field.
Talking about all things stressy.
And depressy. You're in an extremely tickled mood. Extremely. Okay.
This is what it feels like to be with you half the time. Okay, go ahead.
That is true.
Okay.
That is true. On the other side, I love when you're in a tickled mood though, because I can really get you just with a look. Like you had muted yourself and I was just giving you looks and
It's
you were
literally
like
how Jacob has that power over me too. Like we're in a situation where it's like you really shouldn't laugh, but like I know that Jacob thinks something is funny, and just by looking at me, he can get me to break. Like, it's really bad. Anyway, okay.
Anyway, we're talking about all things stressy.
And
wait, do you say that?
Yes.
Okay, whatever. We got through it.
Okay.
It's fine. I think it's fine.
If you're a new listener, that was a fun little riff.
Yes.
Listen to our others.
Yeah. Disclaimer, not mental health advice. This is just for education. We're just in training, so this is just for fun. We're just two girls right now. Two girls with nothing. Actually,
No
you
letters.
have something after.
I do have some
master's.
letters. I have a master's degree, but that doesn't really get you anything in psychology. Spoiler alert. Okay. So stressy depressy.
Stressy depressy. I have nothing to be stressy or depressy about at all. I've had such an excellent week. Actually, just all involving, for the most part, shopping. Sammy came. Alex's girlfriend, my brother's girlfriend, came on Wednesday, and after she finished work, we went to TJ Maxx, and then we just had a great time at TJ Maxx, and we went to Bath and Body Works. So fun. And then the next day, I went shopping with my aunt, which I felt extremely spoiled and it was just very good. Like, it's nice to spend time with her. Shout out Aunt Sue. She's like our number one listener.
Yes.
And I got some really fun things, and I'm like, we were talking about like, okay, she got me this one jacket. I'm like, she's like, do you wear things like this? I'm like, no. And I'm like, could I be someone that wears something like this? Like, I think my style a little bit is still stuck in like just post-college, because I had a job, but we would wear scrubs for my gap year. And then I've just been in medical school where you just wear like either very casual clothes because you're just going to class, so like jeans and a t-shirt, or you're in the hospital and like maybe you'll wear professional clothes, but like for the most part you're just wearing scrubs. So I don't really have any like real outfits. Like I haven't invested in my wardrobe that much, like aside from just like cheap, fun, trendy things. Like but it was really fun to get some like, oh, this is like an actual nice skirt and an actual nice top and like something that I could wear to like an event.
Yes.
So that is, I feel like my closet right now is just wedding dress, like wedding guest dresses, scrubs, and then like literally just
chill
like
outfits.
Fun, very chill outfits. So it was fun. And then I had my hair trial on Friday, which went so well. Oh my gosh. It was fun. You and then my aunt came as well. My mom is away right now, so she wasn't able to come, but it was perfect because I got two people that I very much trust, and something that was a thing that I feel like I had to advocate for myself. Actually, my aunt and I talked about this as well, but they were really wanting me to do hair extensions, and I really did not want to do hair extensions. I feel like I've seen them done very bad. And so that was like initially what was going through my mind. But I would say the biggest thing for me is like I want to feel very natural during my wedding. I think the only thing that I would be like potentially okay with is like very natural fake eyelashes. Like I'm trying to think of like something connected to me. Other than that, like very simple jewelry, very simple hair, very like just like not natural glam makeup. Like I'm not getting a spray tan. Like I just want to feel like me. I want to look back at these photos and be like, that looks like me at that time, like maybe just a little bit elevated. And then I just like have this picture of me like going home after the night and like needing to like shed hair extensions, and like that is like so not what I want. And also just like the hassle of like, okay, when you get hair extensions, my hair is not just one color, because about a year and a half ago was the last time I got balayage, but like I still have some of it in my hair. So in order to get like color matched, like it wouldn't just be like that simple. Like I'd actually need to go somewhere to get a color match. Whatever. Yeah. I'm like, all these reasons that I don't want it. So when I initially emailed the place, well, I booked them back in like December 2024. And now it is December 2025 for a wedding April 2026. Like timeline, whatever. When we set up this trial, they emailed me and were like, just FYI, like in their generic email, 80 to 90% of clients that do like their hair half up, half down or down require hair extensions. I like just didn't. I was like, I'm not going to do that. They were like asking me to send inspo photos. I sent my inspo photos, which again was just like a natural, just down curls, like loose curls, just whatever. And they email back like, looks great. Like, just so you know, 80 to 90%. I'm like, where are these statistics coming from? Whatever. 80 to 90% of people need hair extensions. I email back, hey, I'm not doing that. Yeah. No hair extensions. And I don't know if it was because they were like worried that I wouldn't look like the photos that I sent, which fine. Although I've had my hair look like that. My hair holds a curl. My hair is like pretty deceivingly actually thick. Like anytime when I did get balayage or like a haircut, a hairdresser's always like, oh my gosh, it's thicker than it looks. I don't know what that means. Whatever. And I'll just say, I was like, it doesn't need to look exactly like the photos as long as it's natural. Like I don't care about that. And they're like, just so you know, again, that now they say 85% of clients need to wear hair extensions, and that's fine if you don't want them, but we'll talk more when you're there because it can also help hold the curl. I'm like, first of all, thought it was 80 to 90%. Now it's 85%. But anyway, then I realized I'm just dealing with like their admin person. Like, I'm not dealing with any of the actual stylists. I don't know if this person is a hairstylist, but I'm sure they've just been like given direction, like whatever. But they've never seen my hair. Like they don't know what. Yeah. Whatever. So when I get there, I tell this girl who I actually worked with Missy's wedding. So
she was like on the team.
She wasn't the
person
lead
who did my hair, but she was on that team for that day and happened to do Allie's hair that day.
Yeah. And I was like, I know that you guys really wanted me to do hair extensions, but like, just so you know, like, I'm not doing that. And she was like, oh, I don't know. Like, I was on those emails, but I didn't even like really see, like, she's not like following. I was like, okay. And she's like, yeah, I don't think you need hair extensions. Like, you can see how your hair falls and like, after if you want. The thing is, I did talk to my aunt about it like the day before, and she was kind of like, maybe you should do hair extensions. I did it for my her son's wedding, and now I'm like thinking back, and she was like, oh, and her daughter-in-law wore it for that wedding as well. I'm like thinking about it, I'm like, oh yeah, their hair did look good. Like, so I was like considering it. She was like, don't write it out, but it really didn't feel right to me, and I'm glad with the decision I made. Anyway, this hairstylist was so good. I mean, I've gotten my hair done before by her and by just being a bridesmaid in another wedding, and, you know, in general, just getting your hair done, and like you ask for the same thing and then you kind of get like the wedding guest version of, or bridesmaid version of whatever you're getting. But when someone's doing your hair for an hour and a half and like just doing your hair for that whole time, it like definitely elevates it. So like I feel like, oh my gosh, I did not expect it to look that good. It was exactly what I wanted. And yeah. And she was like, yeah, you don't need extensions. So that's my
it looked really
non-stressy depressy for the week. Yeah. What about you?
Mine, I'm just gonna update people on the mouse saga. We are at war with a mouse in this apartment. We are.
Do you think it's one mouse?
It's for sure one mouse. I think it's one mouse, and here's why. Most people are gonna say if you see one, it's probably multiple. But
I don't think that's true.
Yeah, it depends. But basically, with our situation, and we've had many. Our super has come multiple times to do some various exterminator duties, and basically what he's been here for a while, and he was like, there's been lots of different people in this apartment, and there was actually, like, in particular, not the last people who lived here, but like before them, at some point there were like many iterations, there was someone who was like very messy, and he was like, or like dirty, and he was like, I feel like if anything, a mouse would have come in when that person lived here, and there was no mouse. Like, this apartment is well sealed off. What we both believe happened is that when and I think I was saying this, when our pipes had an issue with our bathroom, they had to like open up our wall, and it was like a little open for 24 hours. And the first time we ever saw the mouse was it ran from that direction into our kitchen. So we think there's just one that kind of got a little lost, and now it's just been subsisting on dried pasta. Now, I told you it was in the cabinet with the dried pasta, and it was. But the plot thickens that, so basically our super came, and we just kept hearing it all week. We were like, there is something in that cabinet.
And here's what I'm going to say, just as a deep, close friend of Missy and Jacob. They're a little bit weenies. And they'll own up to that. They will. They'll be like, yes, we were scared.
It's scary.
They were shaking in their boots. But the way that I'm like, what you need to do is you need to buy a trap. Now, I will say where we differ is I think I have a soft spot for all creatures. Actually, I've told my mouse story before where I was like bringing a mouse to a rescue.
Allie needed for us to get a humane trap.
I wanted them to get a humane trap because that's what Lucas and I used when we had a mouse. It works. You just dump them outside afterwards. But you didn't want to do that. But whatever. Besides the point.
We actually did initially order them, but then it got to the point where it was so bad, and this mouse was like the spoiler.
No, but this is what needed to happen is during that time when it was just literally trapped in there. You should have just opened it, put the trap in, whatever trap you want to use, and then close the door if you really couldn't get it out. Like, if you weren't brave enough to just, like, shush it away. But
yeah,
that didn't happen. So this is, like, building up anxiety for you for, like, a week because no one's doing anything about this mouse.
There's
just
mouse
living in your
the
cabinet.
And then, okay, so then our super comes over, though, and he's like, okay, I'm going to get into this cabinet. And he opens it up and there's no mouse inside. But there's been a mouse living there because our dried pasta has all been eaten into and there's mouse droppings and it's like gross. So we take everything out of that cabinet, obviously sanitize like crazy or throw things out that can just be thrown out. Obviously the pasta was immediately thrown out. But then we put traps like all over that cabinet. Essentially, the mouse now can't get in without getting trapped. And he sealed off any remaining entrances and exits that could be a thing for the mouse. And at first we were like, oh, like this mouse has been sealed out. It left just for that little morning that the super was over here because we didn't hear anything. And then all of a sudden that night, I'm on the phone with Allie and we're just chit-chatting. And
I'm actually telling her a story during this, and there was a little bit of a small plot twist in this story, but one that like was not that surprising. And she started screaming. I was like, oh my gosh, she's really into this story. Like,
all of a sudden,
I didn't think it was that bad. And you're like, ah! And I was like, oh my gosh, it's not that big of a deal, Missy.
I know. And I was like, no, the mouse. So then that night put traps into the cabinet and shut it, but the mouse has not been caught. So we are very lost as to what could be going on. We think then the next morning the super came just to like reevaluate. He took out our fridge. He took out everything to be like, where could this guy be? And we could not find him. And he was like, listen, all the cracks are sealed in your apartment. Like this mouse is probably in here somewhere, but at this point now we haven't really heard it in the apartment. The only place we do think we may hear something is in one of our heating pipes.
That's so scary. I feel like it's gonna burn to death. I'm feeling most empathy right now for this mouse. And I'm rooting for it to just survive.
The issue is it's around the holidays and we're about to be traveling for a bunch of different things. And
I know, but I don't
we're
want,
like,
what if it gets,
we cannot
it's
have...
so inhumane to have the glue traps. Like, it is so inhumane.
Allie.
It is. Imagine it's just starving to death. Like, at least the kill ones, it just kills them.
We do have the snap traps as well, but...
I would take out the glue traps.
I'm sorry. If folks want to hate on me, you can.
Hate on Missy.
I was where Allie was, and then it's like so... I feel like I've gotten the extreme heebie-jeebies of living in my own space, and I just want it gone. Like, I can't even walk on the floor, like, without socksy and slippers. I am constantly banging things around just in case the mouse is around. Like, I am living my life with a cortisol up to here in my own home.
That actually reminds me of a story. My RA, this is so random. My RA's girlfriend in college, we actually became friends, kind of. and I went over to her apartment once. She was like kind of a mentor because this is so random, but she was in medical school. I was pre-med.
Sure.
She was great. Anyway, I went over there and she was telling me this story about how she used to have this mouse in her apartment and it would always be by her kitchen. So when she came in, her routine was like the first thing when you enter the kitchen is the stove. So she would bang on the stove to like give it a warning and it would run away. Whatever. I guess one time she banged on the stove too hard and it was behind the stove and it died between the stove and the wall.
Yikes. Yeah.
And then every time she was cooking, she was smelling this terrible smell.
Oh.
And then realized it was the mouse.
Okay. Well,
Sorry, listeners, for that.
I fear that we're going to have a situation like that, but it's just, sorry for grossing you out. We're going to stop with the mouse talk in a minute. It's just, there's different kinds of people. There's people who are like, whatever, there's a mouse, I don't care. There's people who are fine with it. I am the kind of person, I have like, it's a contamination thing at this point. It's like,
it's really interesting. I don't know why mice don't freak me out at all. We actually did have a mouse for a hot second, but I just remembered that it didn't want anything to do with me, so I wasn't that scared of it. Like, I knew it wasn't gonna like go near me. Like, it was so well hidden we couldn't find it. Like, are you, because it's not going to scurry across your feet. Like,
I worry that it's going to be scared and accidentally, like, also, I mean, I don't want to get into our food. We ordered all these, like, glass containers to put everything in.
I mean, that's really important, and never having something basically on ground level. Like, everything should be, like,
unfortunately, we just don't. We live in such a small apartment. We have such
right, but like
small
put
cabinets.
all the pots and pans, everything you can in the bottom level, and then even if you need to mount something on the wall, like
we'll have to figure that out. But for now, we're just doing the glass containers because whatever. But it's just
now cockroaches or spiders. That's another deal. I will set off a bomb in my apartment to get rid of those fuckers. That to me, like,
it just gives me the heebie-jeebies. I've gotten into like these funks where I like actually am like, I can't even step on the floor. I have to I literally can't. It's just
I do feel that way about cockroaches. I do. I hate them with everything in me. I think I was put on this earth to
kill them,
find a way to kill every single cockroach in existence. Like, I hate them. Oh my God, I hate them so much. I hate when they're on their back and they're like, oh my God, I hate them so much.
So now you understand the mouse.
But
I don't know if I have
cute. Mice are mammals. I actually think I'm like going through a reckoning right now about how much I love animals, and I don't like live by that in terms of like eating meat. And I think something I want to do is not eat mammals, which I kind of do already. I almost never eat. Well, I was like, I'm really thinking about it, and like, I just have such a heart for animals, particularly mammals. And I don't know if you can draw the line at that. But honestly, something that made me think about it was when we were talking about Sadie being her dog, Missy's dog, being on a dog farm. And Alex, my brother, who's a vegetarian, was like, well, obviously he doesn't believe in eating dogs. First of all, he is a vegetarian. But he was like, in your mind, what's the actual difference between that and like a pig or a horse? And what I said was companionship.
I know. No, and we said that last week where we were like, yeah, it is a bit hypocritical, of course.
Whatever. So I'm actually thinking about it, and I feel like I don't, very rarely do I ever eat red meat now, especially because of my cholesterol, but I just don't like burgers, hot dogs now because of my cholesterol. I don't really have ever. I'm trying to think. And I usually don't do ham. I'm now more turkey because of cholesterol as well. So I feel like I could easily do it, and that can just be a new thing. But I don't want to like create a rule for myself because I just like want to more actively make that choice though, to not. But I already don't have a lot of meat, and I feel like I can prove that because I actually had a B12 deficiency. So
you're like, I have the lab,
I have the sign. I really don't eat a lot of meat. Like, almost always if I'm ordering off a menu, I'm having the non-meat version. It's very rare. I would say fish I don't include in that.
Yeah, I'm kind of similar. I don't eat a lot of meat in general. Anyway, this is an aside. We're getting on tangents.
Anyway, what are we talking about
today? I told you we could yap. Allie was like, we're not going to fill a full episode. And I'm like, we'll yap for the first half. We always
can. What we're talking about today is changing your last name when you get married.
Yep.
This is something that now people are asking me a lot, and everyone has really strong opinions on. It's like interesting. Like, I feel like no matter what I say, I get a lot of people that quote like disagree or like don't agree with my choice or think I should do something different. I think actually what I'm doing kind of pleases the most amount of people, but overall everyone has their strong opinions to change or not to change. I will say, I'll kind of like drag this out a little bit, but from Lucas's point, my fiance, we've been together since high school, as you know. I've always known his mom. Maybe sometimes people accidentally call her Mrs. or Miss, like last name of Lucas and his family and dad or whatever, but she kept her maiden name and never like legally changed it. And part of that was they were a little bit later in life when they got married, like in their 40s, and then so like had lived like a full life and had like professional career that she was like a working actress and like was known by that name. I haven't actually asked her like specifically, but that is my take on it. Like I could talk to her more about that. Was that like it was her professional identity and she didn't like have any feeling like she wanted to or didn't want to. But I can confirm with her. That was like my impression. I think what Lucas like told me. So in Lucas's brain, which is like very quote progressive, but I had some friends like where we grew up where their moms didn't change their last name. Like it truly isn't like foreign to us at all to like keep your last name. And he was always under the impression that you probably shouldn't change your last name. Like you should keep it the same. So if anything, his view was like, you do whatever you want. But I think not that he cares what I do, but more like he doesn't see the logic in changing name. Like that doesn't make sense to him. Like I will just almost be graduating medical school like in 1 month when we get married. So like my professional name, I've published under my name. So like in his view, he's like, why would you change your name? That doesn't make sense. I will say our mom has a very different opinion. And there's a lot of people with different opinions. Her opinion is like 100%. You should probably change your last name if you want to have kids. And I'm sure like, I don't think there's any judgment from her of people that do or don't. It's just that in her experience, she felt like she always wanted to have that identity where she shared that name with her kids. Like uniting the family under one name, making it super easy for schools or anyone to look you up if there's an emergency. And I do feel like there's times where you're at the doctor's office or something and it's just like, oh, and same last name, or like it makes it easier. Even like you're checking in like at TSA, whatever, right, and they're looking at boarding pass and it's like makes it easier if everyone has the same last name. Like there's less questioning. Like there's a lot of times where having the same last name as your kid actually does make it easier. Like I'm not gonna lie. And just the idea again that like you're being a family now together, like that represents that, and like we're all coming together. So I think if I asked my mom, she would want me to change my name. But there's a lot of discourse obviously about like the feminist take versus like the traditional take. I guess what I decided to do is what Missy did.
Yes.
Which is to not choose.
But we have to be very specific about this because people like hear what we're doing and then they think it's one thing, but it's not. Anyway.
And I didn't know what you were doing. And once I realized, it was after you were married, you told me. I remember this so specifically. We went to like go get lunch and I think I was with Erin as well. So it must have been my birthday. Yes, it was my birthday right after you got married.
Yes.
And I went to Pie Bowls for lunch. And for some reason it like came up and I was like, that's what you did. That's what I want to do. Because I thought you did what our mom did, which is that my mom kept her quote maiden name, but made it her second middle name. So she has her first name, her original middle name, a second middle name, so now 2 middle names, and then her only last name is my dad's last name, which is now her last name. I thought that's what Missy did.
No.
But what did you do?
I have 2 last names. So I have my same
Are they
first
hyphenated?
Name. Not hyphenated. This is so important. Not
is
hyphenated.
Jacob having 2 last names?
No, Jacob has his same 1 last name.
Are your kids gonna have 2 last names?
No, our kids will only have my second last name, Jacob's last name. Our kids will have 1 last name that is the family name. And the way that we ended up doing this, the way that I go about it is that because, especially because I'm more on like the academia side of things, I've published under my maiden name now for many years. And professionally, I still go by my maiden name. So professionally, I only use my maiden name. Socially, I only use my married last name. I pretty much never use the two last names unless I am completing a legal document. Like if it's like a doctor's office and I really need it to match my insurance, like the only time I use both is legally, essentially. But otherwise, professionally, I use my maiden name. Socially, I use my married name. But it's really helpful to have both in the last name because basically when there's any logistics, then it's so easy for them to match and be like, oh, that's you. Okay. Like I've just already found it to actually be quite helpful for my specific case where like, if I'm using my married name, people are like, even if they see both on a form or something, they're like, oh, yeah, that's fine. Or if I'm using my maiden name, even if it's like a professional context, like, you know, for example, now I'm applying to internship and you have to put your full legal name on that. So I have two last names for that. But my email says my maiden name only. My resume says my maiden name only. Anytime I'm signing my cover letter, it's only maiden name. I've had no issues because they're easily able to be like, oh, that's her, right? So anyway, that's what I've done.
I would say I'm about 90% sure that's what I'm doing. Still, I could make a solid argument for why I would either just keep my last name, do both names, or change my last name completely. And just take his name. Don't know. Which is, I think, why I'm landing on just doing both because I can't decide. But I'm like, is that a good reason to do both just because you can't decide? But that's where we're at because time's running out. I need to figure this out.
I mean, I decided kind of late. I kind of just always had in my head that I would do what our mom did. Because I do like keeping your maiden name like somewhere in your name. Obviously, again, I truly have no judgment. When people come to me and they ask, I'm like, there is no way of fully winning this situation.
No.
You've just witnessed how we had to go through a whole explainer of what we did. It's confusing to people no matter what you choose. But I do like the idea of having your maiden name just be somewhere in your name. But then actually my mother-in-law, Jacob's mom, she did what I did.
I didn't know that.
Legally, she has two last names because she had started a law practice before getting married. And socially, she only uses, like, it's the same basically thing where socially she only uses the last name of Jacob's dad and what all Jacob's siblings have. Even like on social media, that's all she uses. Most people don't know that she has two last names. The only way you know is if you like saw her like pay with her credit card. It has two last names on it, right? Like, or something like that. That all, and once I actually always thought she did the same thing as our mom, just because I heard her name said out and I didn't know that it was actually two last names. Mm-hmm. And then I learned it was like closer to our wedding that I think I learned what she had done, and I was like, oh, you know, I actually do like that for my case as well, given the like professional identity piece being a
Did
part
you
of it.
ever consider just keeping your last name?
Not really, no. I think it was just a decision personal to me. I feel like another piece of it for me, some people feel like their last name is really like an identity thing for them. And there's a couple reasons why it just wasn't really that to me. One is that so we're Jewish. Our last name isn't a very Jewish last name. Like our maiden name is not a very Jewish sounding last name. So it didn't feel, I think maybe if I had a more Jewish last name, I'd want to keep it to like have that identity be like a forward facing part of who I am, but it's not. So it didn't really accomplish that. And I felt like whatever. Secondly, long story short, like it's not even the last name that we were really technically supposed to have because like there were like, it was like a second marriage in the family and it wasn't like our technical lineage. So it doesn't even feel like, it feels a little more removed even in that sense from my ancestry. And so I just felt like it just wasn't, I didn't need it. I didn't feel strongly enough that it needed to be my last name. And I did feel strongly enough that I wanted to have the same last name as my kids and that I wanted it to be Jacob's last name.
Yeah, I would say I, on the other hand, never considered that I would take Lucas's last name.
Really?
I just didn't see the point. It didn't resonate with me. I do actually really like the idea of having kids that have the same last name as you. And when I used to work doing research with labor and delivery and people who were pregnant, a lot of them, there was like quite a few people more, you know, obviously than you meet in your day-to-day life who were like changing their last name. And the reason was because once they were pregnant or like once they, were having a child with this person, they realized that they really wanted to have the same, like all be a family and all have the same last name. Obviously, many people don't feel that way, but you know, that's something I thought about, like maybe I will feel differently. And the process is like slightly harder if it's not, you're not initiating it like during a marriage.
Right.
But yeah, I never really thought about it. I would say also previous to kind of like where I'm at in my life right now, I was just like very career focused. And so I was like, I think once I like published something in my last name that felt like, okay, that's it. That's my name. Like I mean, it just felt like an identity, my last name. I think there was an element maybe of the feminist argument, but it wasn't like a subverting the patriarchy type thing, although I totally see that and I see you and I support you. I think that is a great reason to not change your last name if that's something that you feel connected with. And obviously making choices like not changing your last name gives women more choices. Like you can say, oh, you have the choice to do whatever you want. That's the feminist position. But you know, if you really go into it, like if you make the choice that is quote uncomfortable or like changing society or pushing society in some way, that actually is like increasing all of our power. And like, yeah, you know,
totally. So
whatever. All of that, I understand. It didn't resonate with me super well. It just like felt like, I don't know why I would take his last name. Whatever. I would say until I heard what you did, I was like, that would kind of like solve all my problems of taking two last names. And Lucas was like, okay, or you could just not. Again, he's like, doesn't care. I would say it kept feeling right though. And I think as I become a little more like family focused or like, you know, closer to marriage and closer to like eventually having kids, I do see that as like more of a real thing, is the idea of like having a family together and being a unit. And I think like small things kind of like point me in that direction. Like this is such a small thing, but we went to a wedding and the couple gave us a thank you note and it was addressed to Mr. and Mrs. parentheses future and then last name of Lucas. And I think before, maybe like even a year ago or a little over a year ago, I would have been like, not like offended by that, but just like,
oh, so presumptuous.
Presumptuous. Yeah. Like it doesn't feel right. Especially I don't envision myself going by Mrs. anything. Like that to me, I'm like, Miss. Like I don't like the idea that you're
I don't think that'll feel right until I have like kids and their kids. Like I that's another era of my life.
Maybe
that I'm not
to
in
me,
yet.
I'm like, I do just prefer calling women and not qualifying them by if they're married or not. Like to whatever.
I get that. No, I get that. Yeah.
So whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'll feel differently later on. But, you know, for teachers and things like that, just saying Ms. Anyway, but when I actually saw it, I was like, oh, I kind of like that. Which I wasn't expecting. And I will say, like, actually getting engaged, like, does change things a little bit. And something I was talking about with someone else, actually Angelica, our cousin, and she's actually a wedding photographer or whatever, so she's around a lot of weddings. And I was like, everything seems tacky until it's yours. Like everything seems cliche and tacky and whatever. Like when I used to see like the Mr. and Mrs. things, I would look at them like, who would buy them?
And now you're like buying them.
Okay, I don't think I'm there yet to buy the Mr. and Mrs. cups, primarily because I don't like waste and I think that I would use it for this period of time and then never use it again. So like, whatever. But just this idea of like, I have this little wedding countdown thing that I got that is so cute to me. But I feel like if I saw that before, I would have been like, okay.
Yeah.
Or just like having photos of the engagement up that you got us. Like, I'm like, woo! Like, I remember you guys have a bunch of things like that. I think that Lucas or Jacob's mom got you guys that was little like memory things and stuff. And I genuinely remember thinking like, oh, that decor doesn't look good. But now that I'm in it, I'm like, I want my whole house. Like, I'm like, I have like the preserved flowers up. Like, everything just feels more special. And I guess you don't know how you feel until you're in it. Because there are some things that I'm still like, that's kind of tacky.
No, I feel the same way. Yeah.
One thing I will never grow on me is garter tosses. I think that's fucking That's disgusting. That's so bizarre. Whatever. Never changed my mind about that. But there's things in general that I'm like, I didn't see that having meaning for me, or I didn't see that whatever until you're in the stage. So I think I just didn't really think about it a lot before. Just always assumed I would keep my last name. But yeah, I guess keeping an open mind and acknowledging that you might feel differently as time goes on.
I know. It's interesting too. And yeah, I like, obviously this is all couched in like, this is how we made our decision, and we did decide to make a change. And I get it if you are someone who's like, I'm not going to do that.
I understand. A lot of angles.
For me, so something that you said that I've heard a lot is people say like, I am just so used to my last name. This feels like me. I'm Missy blank. I'm Allie blank,
yes.
Right? And I always felt a little removed from that, I think, because my first name gives people a lot of confusion. So
it's so interesting that you say that, because whatever.
I know
I really like
have a nickname too, but it's different. My name is Melissa. My full name is Melissa. Some of you listening right now might be shocked to hear that. Probably not, because you're all my friends and family. But if anyone here is listening who's not a friend or family, I'm willing to bet that your jaw is just on the table right now.
I genuinely think, Missy, that you're just interacting with dumb people. Like, I think that's the only explanation.
No. I don't want to offend anyone, because I know people who actively listen to this podcast who at one point in time were shocked to learn and are very smart people. I think it's literally a generational thing, and I think you're blinded by it because you grew up with me. Because
what do people think, that Missy Elliott's name is really Missy?
They think that confuses them more. They think, oh, so you're named after Missy Elliott. No, that's just a name. Like, I just don't know how to describe you. It's like how, like,
okay, fine. I'm just gonna accept it, but whatever.
It's like how, like, an old-fashioned nickname for Catherine would be like Kit. And like, some people might not know that Kit is actually a nickname for Catherine.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be confused. I'd just be like, huh, interesting. I don't know why people are so floored. Like, they act like it is the craziest thing ever. Meanwhile,
your name is Melissa? What? People are so shocked.
And that's on them. That's on them.
So I feel like I often am in spaces where your name is Allison and you go by Allie. That's something that people understand implicitly. Like, I know people who are Jessica and they go by Jess, and it's just a seamless, like, okay, obviously on a form I'm writing Jessica, but I'm referring to this person as Jess, right? There's no confusion over what to write down on an official document. Like, anyone who knows me, who just, like, I introduce myself, I'm Missy, they're getting ready to put my name down on something official. They're like, Missy. I'm like, no. It would never
does this come up?
Zoom. It's my name on my email, right? Like, because this is just the official thing. People do not, like, we're going around on Zoom. I'm like, I'm Missy, and like, whatever. I'm in like a new environment. Then people just, it erases from their brain. Like, they just are like, and as Melissa was saying earlier, blah, blah, blah. It's like,
people do that to me too.
People don't remember it. So I just feel like I'm constantly having to get used to myself in different names. And I've had to adapt to, like, different environments where people refer to me differently. And it's just something that, like, I don't have one cohesive name that I introduce myself as, because it varies by the environment. And so that's never been like a foreign concept to me. I feel like with my last name, I just knew, and this was the case. In the very beginning, it was weird to use, like, especially socially, just use Jacob's last name. I was like, oh my God, this feels, especially on the wedding day, I was like, that's not my name. Like, when it was written out, like, it was so weird. And with time, I've gotten very used to it. And that's how I introduce myself now. And it's just been like an exposure thing of, like, not like exposure therapy, but just truly getting exposed to it and being yeah, now I'm used to it. And I'm just, like, so used to this idea that, like, in some environments I'm Missy and my maiden name, and some environments I'm Melissa, and some environments I have Jacob's last name. Like, I don't feel like I have one cohesive name, and that's just never been true for me. I don't know.
Because I don't know. I don't fully buy this whole story. Hate to say it.
You're not living my life. You're not living my life.
I know, but I'm like, okay, you have a nickname.
No, I understand that, but I think there's a difference between people who have a nickname that's obvious to them. And
like, some people still call me Allison even if I don't prefer it, because it says that on my jacket or it says that on my ID.
Yes,
and as many times as I tell them that I'm Allie, they, like, am just looking at my
but
name
I'm
tags.
just, like, for instance, if you introduce yourself to someone as Allie, and they're getting ready to put your name down on something official.
Okay.
They're going to probably ask you, what is Allie short for?
They
right?
don't.
They write down Allie?
I've never been in that situation. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Like, when I collaborate with people on papers, this happens, and they're like sending it out to co-authors, and it's like Missy something. And
no,
I'm like,
they'll do that too, and I'll just correct them that it's Allison.
But I just feel like it's not this, like, people like see it as.
I agree that maybe it blows their mind more, but I do think people know me as Allie, and I actually did have that happen on my first paper, that they put it down as Allie. And I just said, hey, I actually spelled my last name wrong.
I don't know. I feel like whatever. For whatever reason, it's just so separate.
Okay, here's what I'm going to say. It's for some reason very sensitive to you. But
I don't sensitive. It's not that it's like a bad thing. I just think people are so stuck on this, like, my name is this. And I'm like, I don't know. I just feel like in every new environment, I have to go through a whole rigmarole with my name already, that it's just not a thing. I don't really like feel that. I don't relate to that idea as like, I just so feel this like clear identity with my name. And I think that's probably why.
I feel it. And I think part of the reason I have a clear identity of my name is also growing up in a small town, because everyone knows Allie blank. Like everyone knows, like, from probably plus 4 grades above you to 4 grades below you, because we were in such a small town. If you talk to any parent, it's like, oh honey, like, I know your mom, Miss blah blah, like, you know, if they know your last name, they know you, like, so I think I just felt connected to like our family name, and as well as everyone knew me as part of that, and everyone, I don't know, just very connected to that. And I think, I don't know why that like cemented that identity in me. But I feel like because, you're not just known as like a first name when you're meeting someone, everyone like puts you in context. They're like, you're part of this family. And, seeing it as that, I don't know. It sounds like you don't.
That's interesting. No, I don't know. I guess I just, whatever. But
whatever. So I will say people are very confused when I do say that when I'm adding a last name to my last name, so I'll have 2 last names. Again, I have to go the whole thing. They ask me, is it hyphenated? What are your
most
kids
people,
gonna do?
even if I say 2 words, 2 separate last names, they're like with a hyphen, and is Jacob taking it too? And and your kids will have, and they like are like, well, but your kids, so what will their kids be? And I'm like, well, they're just gonna have 1 last name, so there's not.
I will say I am stuck on when people give their kids hyphenated last names, and this is not to judge you. That is, I think, the one scenario that I do not understand, because I'm like, you are just then not giving your kids a choice. I don't know. I don't.
It's a little bit kicking the can down the road. But
I know. I'm like,
you know what? I get it.
Also, I think a lot of hyphenated last names just like visually look clunky. Not that 2 last names don't, but at least I'm only one person in the family gonna have it. Like, I'm not.
I know. And it's tricky too, because I can also understand where, like, I think we're also both in like heterosexual relationships, and I know.
I think the better scenario would be to combine the last.
Just have like one long
make
word.
a new one. I actually was so open to that. If Lucas were open to that, I would have like just created a new last name.
We someone from our town did that.
Really?
I'll tell you who after.
We'll talk offline.
Yeah.
But no, I'd be so open to that. And actually, me, Lucas, Alex, and Sammy were into that too. So it was like, let's make a last name for all of us. We could all have the same last name. It would be so fun. And every day I was like, come on, guys, you really got to like put ideas in the group. And Lucas was like, I'm not doing this. So
Jacob would not have gone for it.
If Lucas were into it, 100% that's what I would have done. I think that's so fun. Like, just to like make a last name that's easy to spell, fun. It would have to be like A, B, C, or D, because then we'd be like at the beginning of the alphabet. Like,
you could just
oh my
engineer
gosh,
that for yourself.
Yeah, like, I think that would be so fun. I think that's what everyone else should do.
I've heard of, I think this is a minor trend, but I have heard a trend of people being like, we're just going to take whatever last name we think is better. Like, if we just think that one of the last names is like
the
a
only
better
thing
last
I'm
name.
against is giving kids really long last names. Because actually, I was friends with a girl growing up who had a hyphenated last name, but it was 2 very short last names, and it literally sounded fine. Fine, they get a pass. If you're gonna give your kids the last name, like, I don't know, if it's over 2 syllables each, so now it's a 4-syllable last name.
Yeah, it's long. We just
like,
said we
I
wouldn't
just take
judge
a deep
anyone,
breath
though.
with you.
And listen,
I'm not
think
judging
that-
you because I see you and I see that there might be scenarios that I'm not aware of. Whatever. Okay, I see you. You know, situations where relationships are weird, where maybe there's like a divorce going on, maybe like whatever. Okay, fine. Don't lie to me and say that's like a good scenario, though.
Well, I mean, what I say in my scenario, even with what I chose, obviously I buy into it, but I think I got to the point where realized there's no good option here.
No, there's
matter
no good
what
option.
I
do actually think a real downside is having two last names being clunky. Like, there's something of just ease of just having one last name. Like,
I mean, yeah, anytime I have to be calling the doc with this does happen kind of frequently where it's like I'm calling the doctor's office, I'm calling the bank, I'm calling anywhere that I do need to. I can't just socially give my last name, that's Jacob's last name. I have to spell out the two last names. And my last name, our maiden last name is not easy to spell. Everyone gets it wrong.
Yes.
So you have to really hold people's hand to get through it. And even Jacob's last name, it's a more common one, but there's differing spellings, and it's when you say it over the phone, sometimes it can be hard to hear, like it can sound like other things. So I've had people like misunderstand me, whatever. So I'm going through spelling these two not super long but not super short either, difficult-ish to spell last name. Like I'm like, okay, buckle up, it's 2 words, ready? And I'm going through it, and then I'm like, space, second last name. Let's go. Like it's a long haul to be like doing that, and that's annoying.
Yeah. So what? Yeah. Don't do that to your kids. Also, I am kind of joking because again, none of this is that deep. Like, do what works best for you.
Really,
I really don't mean to sound so judgmental. That is like, again, just my opinion, and like I don't know your scenario, so like really do whatever works best for you. I am just like glad. The thing that I'm looking forward to the least about having 2 last names is having 2 last names. So
I know.
That's the thing. But yeah, overall, I think that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Yeah, crazy times. It's an interesting topic, and I feel like there's probably a lot more that we could have gone into around like your identity around your name, and
One thing that I will say, I think this is part of the reason why I wouldn't just fully change it to his last name. And this is like, to me, okay, buckle in for this. To me, I do not. Well, no one goes into marriage thinking divorce is an option. Well, wait, let me reframe that. No one goes into marriage thinking that they're going to get divorced, for the most part. But I really don't see divorce in my future. Like, whatever, naive, I don't know. But no one in our family gets divorced. No one in Lucas's family gets divorced. Like, just come from a very long line of people who are very committed to marriage. I've been with him for 10 years. Do crazy things happen, yeah. The idea that I am completely changing my last name, though, I envision some world out there where somehow there's some reason that Lucas is a completely different person, and for whatever reason, the 0.00% chance that we do get a divorce or have to split, or there's some tragedy or something, and I don't have any like semblance of myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have to change my name back. To me, like, doesn't feel right. Like, I like the idea that I am maintaining some part of my identity for my future self to have there if needed.
Yeah. No, I will
but
say
I really don't even consider divorce even in my brain, but just the idea that I am maintaining part of my identity does like speak to me.
No, I definitely get that, and honestly, I feel that from a standpoint of being professionally under my maiden name, that I'm going to be Dr. maiden name.
Yes.
Mrs. married name.
Like, that's a constant. Like no matter what's happening outside in the world, like, that doesn't affect this part of me. Yeah.
And I do feel like maybe our situation is unique to people where, like, you know, they are going to be using their professional name, because I totally see a world where people might feel it's a kind of a unique thing. I was talking to someone, though, in academia, like around the time, it was someone I didn't really know. It was just like a friend of a friend who was also getting married. And my friend was like, can you talk to her? Because she's kind of like really conflicted about what to do. And I was like, here's what I'm thinking. And I explained the Dr. maiden name, Mrs. married name. And that just resonated with me. And she was like, she ended up doing it. She was like, wow, I really like that.
Missy is proselytizing. Yeah. So
no, but truly, I go into these conversations with like, do whatever you want, because it's all a shit show. To
me, again, it does seem like for my value system, what hits the most boxes. It's not perfect. I think there's an argument to be made for every single decision. But yeah, I think it's the best for me. Anyway.
Agreed. Comment down below if you have different thoughts, if you've made different considerations, if you're like, I fully changed my last name. I'm not going to change it. We are going to hyphenate. If you are creating a new name, we want to know it.
We want to hear it. Yes.
We want to hear your creativity because I don't think I would have done it personally, but I think it's really cool.
I would like, I think if I just could create a new last name would be Cat. Not Cats, not whatever. C-A-T. So I could be Alley Cat and beginning of the alphabet. Easy. Everyone knows how to spell it. Perfect.
Okay.
I want to put that out there for any other Alleys out there. And then I named my child Kit, so then it'd be Kit Kat.
Call back to Kit. Call back to Catherine. Nickname Kit. It would be Catherine Cat. We could have her go by Cat, but no, she's gonna be Kit Kat.
And then I'd have a Tabby Cat, Tabitha.
Tabby Cat. Yeah. Our mom also was like, because like we have Allie in our family, Alley Cat, and our mom would always call her Alley Cat, and she literally was like, I wanted to name you Tabitha so that I could have like Cat, but my dad didn't go for it. For better or for worse.
Would you rather be Tabby and Tabitha or Missy and Melissa?
I think I like my name. I do like my name. I like your name.
I think you got the good name. I think most older sisters get the best name because that was the first choice.
I really do like my name. It's just I more said it that way because like I just don't relate to the like I have one.
This is what I'm gonna leave everyone on. Like truly, I need you to just think about this. This is like so off topic, but how many families do you know out there that their first dog is the same gender as their first child? Because I was actually going through the list and it's like 90%.
Wait, that's so
of people that Lucas and I know. And so I just want to have you sit with that.
Maybe that means something for Jacob and me. We have a girl dog. So maybe one day.
I was thinking about it. It doesn't
we had a boy cat.
No, it doesn't work with cats. It doesn't work with cats. Mom and dad had a boy cat first dog girl.
Interesting.
There is some spitting names. The only people that I thought of that it's not like that is the Feldmans.
Interesting. Okay. Well,
yeah, just think on that, viewers, and listeners. That's all I want, and I want to do some mild research on that. So comment below.
I don't believe, like, I don't believe this is a thing, but I do in my heart believe it's a thing that I can predict what gender kids people are gonna have, and I am pretty accurate. I'm just gonna say it.
She's never been wrong yet.
I knew with my whole body that Allie's friend was having a baby girl. I wasn't sure. She had a girl.
That was one of the best moments of my whole life. I genuinely can't think of a better moment, actually. Maybe when I got engaged.
Like, seriously, I feel like I've just known and it's been a small sample size so far in my life, but like everyone I've known, like when they're having a baby, I just like get like this strong feeling, and I've been right. And so I'm all for these things where it's like, what gender is their dog and what kid are they gonna have? Like I don't believe it. Like it's probably not real.
It's not true. Of course, there's no actual backing to it, but I was like, I actually need some field research out there. So
like there's people and I'm like, I know them as a couple and I'm like, well, obviously you'll have a girl at some point because like this person's a girl dad. Like I just know it. Like you know what I mean? Like
I hope I just have 2 girls and a boy.
I could see it for you. I could even see you having all girls.
Oh, don't get me started. That would be amazing. But I think Lucas would be a good boy dad. So
I think he's a girl dad though.
We can't talk about this anymore because that would be amazing. Okay. Love you guys. Bye.
All right, bye.